There is no gainsaying that education has remained top on the priority list of the Akinwunmi Ambode administration. This is because since he assumed office, the governor and his team has been working assiduously to ensure that education in Lagos State meets world standard. Little wonder a significant portion of the state's budget every year is allocated to education. Consequently, students in the state have continuously excelled in both internal and external examinations. To sustain its investment in the education sector and to keep up with international standard, the Lagos State government reviewed the document guiding its program and activities within the sector. A 3-day retreat was held in December 2017 with the theme Lagos State Education Policy Review, Expanding Access to Quality Education. This preceded the review. In a welcome address, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mrs. Adebumi Adekonye, noted that the overall performance of students in both internal and external examinations has confirmed the excellent progress being made by the Lagos State government in the education sector.
The intervention of this administration in the sector in terms of renovation of existing classrooms, construction of new classroom blocks, laboratories, supply of furniture to principals, tutors, and students and pupils, strengthening of their security around the school, staff motivation, etc., has combined to create a better environment for teaching and for learning. I'm happy that the result of our huge investment, among others, is evident in the tremendous progress in external exams since 2015.
On her part, a director in the Policy Planning, Research and Statistics Department, Mrs. Aderoju Grilu, spoke on the Education Policy Review.
The goals of education is in line with the national policy on education, and that is what we have up there, starting from development of individual into a morally sound, patriotic, effective citizen, total integration of the individual into the immediate community and Nigerian society and the world. Provision of equal access to qualitative educational opportunities for all citizens at all levels of education within and outside the formal school system, inculcation of national consciousness, values, and national unity. Development of appropriate skills, mental, physical, and social abilities and competencies to empower the individual to live and contribute positively to the society.
In its presentation titled Education Policy Review, The Journey So Far, the guest speaker, Professor Peter Okebukola, described the new policy document as a comprehensive one and should be of great importance to all stakeholders.
What I found is a document, I put 3 adjectives there. Very comprehensive, it is rich and forward-looking. Now, the roles of every stakeholder in the document are very clearly specified in the policy. I can see no overlaps, I can see no ambiguity. And there's a high, what we call internal consistency in the document. The document, this revised policy is a model for other states and even a template for the federal when the national policy of education is going to be revised.
Delivering her keynote address, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Idiat Adebule, said the forum was intended to canvass support and contributions from all relevant stakeholders in the education sector.
The third stage was the research and drafting process, where the ministerial establishment and educational experts were engaged in a 3-day education retreat between 14th and 16th of December 2017. The next stage, which is the consultation, is the reason why we are assembled here today. I dare say that as critical stakeholders in the education sector, your input, especially in the light of the enormous work that has been done through the previous stages, are very important. Despite all of this, we still need to do more. we want to be. It is therefore heartwarming to note the views and opinions of stakeholders on all of these critical areas and other such administration and grading of private schools, curbing examination malpractices, effective utilization of information technology in the management of schools and promotion of co-curricular activities to enhance physical and mental development of our children, amongst others.
Present at the forum were stakeholders from the private education sector, religious bodies, royal fathers, development partners, and they all expressed their views. They all called for adequate implementation of the recommendations made.
If we must satisfy our quest for quality education, from time to time, periodically, we must session together. We must brainstorm. We must look at issues. We must look at what are those things that we are not doing and that is not taking us to where we ought to be. Generally, there's going to be a paradigm shift. This new policy will address our peculiarities and our challenges such that we'll take our education to the next level in Lagos State.
I'm so glad and appreciative that the Lagos State government places so much emphasis on education. Because without education, the desired change cannot happen, we cannot move forward, human capacity cannot be developed. The policy that's being reviewed after 30 years is another feather in the cap of the Ministry of Education, ably led by the deputy government. The time is right and the time is now.
Please let us know the privileges, the responsibilities, and the rights of private school owner. There should be a document that will accompany this policy so that the implementation will be easier and the whole populace will be what? Carrying along.
Anybody want to suggest there must be another intervention for moral preservation? And on that note, I want to suggest that the status of religious and moral instruction among these 9 and 10 subjects must be up so that we can revive morals back to our leaders.
We are expressing our sincere thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the Governor of Lagos State, the Deputy Governor, and all the top officials of Lagos State Ministry of Education for paying more attention to education in the state. In the course of implementing this policy, please pay more attention to the welfare of the teachers.
The great excitement that we have out of this as principals, as leaders that are leading leaders, is that it is very, very holistic. That is, it's going to develop the 3 age of the children that we are raising. That is, it's going to develop their head, start from the knowledge that they are going to acquire. It's going to develop their heart, which is their mindset, and finally, their hand, acquisition of skills. Creativity and innovation is going to be the core values of this new policy.
I just have what I call tag concerning this review in the area of implementation. Transparency, which is T, A, accountability, and G, good governance. I'm representing civil society organization, and I'm telling you that we are going to give you full support for the implementation of this program.
I would like to suggest, if possible, I know we are running against time, making sure that the policy document comes out quickly. I would suggest that it might be necessary to allow the new draft document to be shared with representatives of different stakeholder groups that we have here, and they can quickly turn around their comments. This actually will make the document to be enriching, more inclusive, more acceptable, and so people can hold their peace for the next 5 years on the time of review.
I'm basically a special education professional, and looking at the document, please, I want you to critically examine again the words, the nomenclature used in the document. We need to be very careful to make sure that there's a synthesis. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rubrics. So that at the end of the day, we don't commit billions of naira on a given policy without the achievability of policy outcomes.
In an interview with Education Report on TV, the guest speaker, Professor Peter Okebukola, made it known that the effective implementation of the policy should not be left with the government alone.
Now we have a document that we are going to all implement. So everybody, the government people, will have a segment of it to implement. The teachers, the parents, the students, all stakeholders will be part of that implementation. So to let that implementation go on with a high degree of fidelity, you now need to have a small group in place that will ensure that you government, there's this policy that states you should provide this kind of funding or this kind of resources. Are you doing that? Parents, there's this policy that says you should provide for your children to come to school, uniform and all of that. Are you doing that? Teachers, are you delivering the curriculum that the policy makes provision for? Are you delivering it according to the policy? So every one of us here will have to be accountable, and the committee that I've suggested, the implementation committee, will then be monitoring how well the thing is being implemented.
We know that the world is changing, and we have to change according to modern trends and according to best practices all over the world. So today we are looking at the draft policy as presented to all stakeholders in the education sector. We have deliberated, we have collected ideas and things that can be put into the tenet to make it a robust Lagos State policy on education in eventuality.
In all, it would be recalled that the education policy was reviewed in 1988, though successive governments introduced various initiatives aimed at the delivery of better education service.